Game, and it continues when it comes to the MTA and the governor sparring over fixing the failing subway system.
So MTA Chairman Joe Lhota outlined his plan earlier this week for phase one to stabilize the subway system. Mayor de Blasio reportedly wants the MTA to come up with a better spending plan and more quick fixes, and wants the state of New York to pick up the bill. Joining us right now, MTA board member Scott Rechler. Nice to have you here again. Thank you. So, how are the repairs going right now?
So, first, I think Joe's done a great job with his 30-day plan. I mean, you have a system that he put out a plan that was sort of a triage plan to fix a system that's in cardiac arrest, which is good for the short term. It will help us. But we still have a system that's in deep trouble. I mean, and ultimately, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need to do open heart surgery, maybe even a heart transplant. But the system he put in there is one that should at least help the circumstance now. You know, he's fixing the signals, repairing the cars, customer service, customer communication, etc.
Some big headlines this week as Mayor de Blasio has spoken out about the subway system and the issues down there. There was a report that they had the homeless people removed from a station, you know, for optics, so the mayor would look better. Also that they held up a train, you know, for his purposes. Do you know anything about that? Where do things stand?
So I've known what I've read in the press. I know Joe Lhota is looking into it. I would say if that did happen, that's not a good thing. I mean, we have a system right now that is failing, that's not servicing its customers, and we should do nothing from a political perspective to slow down the use of the system.
All right, let me ask you, the mayor has been talking about the $2-point-something billion that the city has given the MTA, and he's like, I'm not going to give any more money to the MTA. They haven't even spent the money that we gave them. Now, my understanding is the MTA has to spend all their money before they can spend the city's money. Is that true?
First of all, there's spending money and there's committed capital. So when you talk about capital, like the $2.5 billion, that money is committed to be spent over years, but it's already committed. In Joe's plan for this year, we need $850 million to just stabilize the system, just to be able to provide reasonable service.
Do we have that in the budget right now?
We do not have in the budget.
Why not?
The governor had said he would pay 50% per Joe's recommendation. Joe recommended that the mayor pay 50%. The reality is we're all in this. And this is a little bit inside politics. Who's paying this? We're paying this. You're paying it. I'm paying it with our taxes. Our riders are paying it with the tolls and fares. So this is a little bit of inside politics. We need the money. We need to stabilize the system. There's $8 billion beyond that really is going to go in terms of that full repair that we talked about to make the system function effectively, that we're going to have to find some sustainable revenue sources for that. But I don't want to leave it with sustainable revenue sources, because it's not just about new money, it's about doing things more efficiently. You know, it costs 4 times as much to build 1 mile of subway tracks in New York City as it does in Tokyo and Paris. Tokyo and Paris, talking first world cities here, with the same labor issues, etc. In my 2 months at the MTA, I've already seen so many inefficiencies and waste, so we have to find ways to do things better and get more out of our dollars, as well as finding ways to get more dollars into the system.
Joe's plan also calls for eliminating seats on certain subway lines so you can get more people in the car. We've seen varying reports on how many more people you can get in a train without seats.
And so part of Joe's plan is to try to get more capacity out of the existing system. So on some lines where it's possible, adding actually more cars, so you're actually able to extend that out a little bit where the platforms permit that. Also, as you noted, as an experiment, the concept is to actually remove seats, which has been done on some other subway systems around the country, which could add about 25 people per car. He's going to test it. I think right now we're in a crisis, so everything should be tested, and I applaud him for thinking outside the box.
So, Scott, you were talking about waste and misuse. Scotty P., Track Scotty, he just tweeted me. He wants to know what happened to the $10 million vacuum that sucked garbage from the tracks that's laying broken in a yard.
I don't know the answer to that specific question, but that is one of the elements that Joe is focusing on. Is, you know, we need to keep the tracks clean, because when there's garbage on the tracks, it causes fires. This happened in Harlem last week. So not only is it a major safety issue, but obviously a performance issue. And so we're actually adding more cars that will vacuum the tracks as we go forward.
Do we know our machinery just not functioning and just laying around, not being fixed?
I don't have the answer, but obviously if that's the case, that's a bad sign. The other thing that in Joe's plan, He's adding 2,700 people, and part of that is maintenance. He's now going to a 24/7 maintenance schedule, which I think is critical in terms of when there are issues. He's increasing the staffing by 3 times. So right now the response time is 45 minutes. The new target's 15 minutes. So these are the things that he's addressed in his plan to try to make the system function more effectively.
Earlier this month, there was an MTA board meeting, and I believe you invited members of the public, and some of them were rather colorful. We saw that guy sing about subway delays, waiting for the light. I think we might have a little bit of video of him. My question is, when people go to these meetings, you guys actually listen? Sometimes we get the sense that, you know, say your piece, but we're going to decide, we're going to do what we're going to do. You really genuinely looking for public input?
So we had 50 speakers at this meeting, so it was about an hour, almost 2 hours of public comment, and so we listened to what the public says. But I think the public is frustrated. They should be frustrated. The system's failing them. They've had toll increases. It's not functioning, and so I think there's a real view on the board and myself included that we need to do something with our subway system.
I know that you talked about that you need more money. I mean, first of all, you're right. We pay for everything, and it's not just tolls. There are hidden fees in a lot of our bills that we get at home that have nothing to do with the MTA. Light, phone bills,
right? Yep.
Cable bills.
There's lots of things.
I know. So I'm just saying, like you get plenty of money from us. I mean, we're taxed every which way.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe we should be like going and finding the people who are throwing the garbage on the. I mean, there's some people feel like it's like lawless underneath, underground.
Good point. And again, that's one of Joe's points. He's asked the NYPD to do more enforcement on people leaving garbage on tracks. Again, he raised the point about eating on the subway. So all these things are on the table. In a crisis, you have to think outside the box. You have to try to figure out a way to solve the crisis. This, again, is a short-term solution. This is this is in this year, he's going to try to solve, the pain, but we still have a major issue ahead of us.
You personally get no money. You're a volunteer?
I'm a full volunteer.
Full volunteer. And one other thing, I've never actually seen, I'm on the subway every day, I've never seen I see plenty of litter, but I don't see people littering. I feel like it comes out of the trash. It blows out of the trash. So really, have you ever seen anybody littering down there?
They took away the trash cans, didn't they?
Well, the trash is getting there.
Yeah,
right?
I was on the subway just yesterday, and I was riding uptown, and there was someone there that was eating his lunch. When he was done, he just left his bags and stuff on the seat in the subway, right? So that's what
Did you make a citizen's arrest? Did you say something?
I threw it away.
You threw it away?
I threw it away.
Ooh.
Well, this is what you do, right? This is, we're all in this together. We all got to solve it together. We all have to contribute. This is critical to the vitality of our economy.
Well, I'm glad you did that. I don't know if I would have done the same thing. Someone else's lunch. No, Mr. Rechler, thank you very much. You got a big job, and to the other board members, good luck.